Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and those of you who are new, please subscribe so you'll know every time I post a new video. And I'd like to say sorry to everyone that I have been a little absent from posting videos, and yeah, 2 months to be exact. So senior year has been really busy, and I really thought that I'd have more time to do it, and so I'm going to try my best because it is coming to the end of the last semester. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you like a backstory before I get into it. So I was at my boyfriend's house, and like I started like feeling sick almost, and like my stomach hurt, and I was like, well, I think I'm hungry. And he's like, well, you're always hungry. And I was like, no, like I really think I'm hungry, like my stomach really hurts. And then my parents were like, hey, you haven't been home in a while, you should come home. And I was like, okay, like I didn't want to go home because I'm always with him. So I went home, and they were all cooking dinner, and I was like, I really don't feel good. And they were like, okay, well, you still have to come down and eat dinner. And I was like, okay. So I went down, and we had red beans and rice, and I just couldn't eat it. Like my stomach at that point was hurting so bad. So I was like, I really think I should go to the hospital. And they're like, well, just take some Tylenol, and if you're not feeling better, then we'll see about what we can do, if we can go to the doctor or not. And so I was like, okay, maybe if I take a hot bath, like my stomach will feel better, because like it started really hurting. And so I was just in the bathtub trying to relax, and it got worse. Like it got so bad. And then like I was like, oh, I can't even stay in here, like I'm about to pass out. And so I went to my bedroom, and like it hit me, like it hurt so bad. Like I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. And I was like, please, can I go to the hospital? And they're like, yeah, but I don't think it's anything but a stomach ache. And I was like crying my eyes out, like my stomach hurt so bad. And so I got into the hospital, and we were like checking in and all that, and they put us in our room, and I was explaining my pain to them, and they're like, well, it sounds like an appendicitis. However, there's one problem. Usually if you have an appendicitis, you show about 3 out of the 5 signs, and I was only showing one, which was the pain in the right side or whatever. And so I was like, no, like something's seriously wrong. And at that point, like my mom even admitted, she was like, I didn't think that anything was wrong with you. And so like they gave me morphine to like lessen the pain or whatever, but it still pretty hurt pretty bad. And then they did CAT scans and MRIs, and they were like, so you are going to be around a lot of radiation, and we might not see it the first time because it probably just happened, and the pain's like starting to get stronger, and since you're not showing all the signs, it might not show up. So they talked to my mom and me, and they were like, so it's up to you guys if you want to be exposed to that much radiation, because we don't think the first time we'll see anything. And so they gave me more medicine so that like it would all show up whenever they did the scans and whatever else they did. And so they wheeled me back, and I got in it, and like it makes your whole body warm. I hate that feeling. And so then we went back, and I was waiting for the results or whatever, and I was just thinking like, everyone just thinks I'm so dramatic, like nobody believes me, like I'm in so much pain, but it's not enough that they think it's serious, because usually people are like, they can't move. And so he came back, and he was like, no, like you have to stay at the hospital. And we were like, why? And they were like, you're having appendicitis, like it could burst in the next day, like you have to stay here, we're moving other people's surgeries back, like you have to be the first one in the morning, you're getting the first surgery opened. And at that point, like I was just so upset, like I've never had surgery ever, like that was my first surgery ever, so I was flipping out about that. And they were like, yeah, so if you didn't come in like you did, you probably might have died, because when your appendix ruptures, all the stuff that's in it that's like negative and bad for your body would have been all on the inside of your stomach. And so yeah, they were like, I'm just gonna have to say like you have a really high pain tolerance, because usually people who are their appendix is about to rupture, they're like they can't move at all. And I was still like my stomach hurt, but I was still able to like walk around, and like I'd cry occasionally, but it like they didn't think that it was an appendicitis. So they put me in the hospital, gave me a ton of medicine, and then first thing in the morning, I don't even think the sun was out. Like they were like, okay, we're taking you into surgery or whatever. And so I went, and I was so like, I think I was crying more because I was scared than anything. Like, they were like, yeah, you're having your surgery, so we're gonna have to cut your stomach open. And I was like, oh my god, like, it's really happening. Like, they're putting me to sleep. Like, there's a chance that I might not wake up. And they're like, no, 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 no. Like, the rate of dying, having appendicitis surgery, like, is so rare. Like, one of the easiest surgery, like, you're in, you're out. And I was like, okay. And then, like, I had my gown on, that's all I had on. And then I was like, yeah, to get to my stomach, they're gonna have to, like, lift my gown. And so I was crying even more because I was like, oh my god, they're gonna see me naked, like, a bunch of strangers, like, all standing around me. So, like, I didn't tell them that, but I was crying so much because I was like, I don't want this to happen. Like, I'm not ready to have my first surgery and a bunch of people to see me naked, basically. Like, I know they're all professional, but and so they were like, I was like crying really bad, and they were like, okay, I'm just gonna give you some medicine real quick. And so they shot, I guess, whatever they shot into my IV to get me to go to sleep. And I was like, yeah, this isn't working, like, looking around. And then my dad came in because he's at I think he was at work. And so he came in, like, I remember looking at him, and then I looked around, and all the doctors that were standing around me, like, just got all black. And like, I didn't wake up or anything during my surgery, but I think they wheeled me back into the same room where they were about to like, they bring you into this room first, and they're like, okay, explaining, like, what's gonna happen. And it's like the recovery room. And so I had my surgery, and they brought me back to the recovery room. Like, I do remember that, like, because I was still able to hear everything, but I couldn't, like, I wasn't awake. And so the worst pain I ever felt when I woke up, like, you guys do not know how much you use your stomach until you have surgery on it, and you're just, like, you can't get up. Like, it hurts so bad to use your stomach to pee to anything. And so my eyes were shut, like, I wasn't able to wake up, but I could hear everything. And I remember them pulling the thing out of my throat. I don't know if it was, like, what they had it for, but usually when you have surgery, like, they put something in your throat, I guess, to help you breathe or whatever. And I just I remember feeling it, like, come up, and that was the worst pain ever. And so I was like, ugh. And when I did, like, I used my stomach, and I was like in so much pain. And then I remember them bringing me back to the room and, like, trying to get me to wake up, and I couldn't wake up, but I could hear everything. And so I was on the bed or whatever, and they made my parents get out for, like, some reason, I guess, like, put me on the bed. I'm not sure why they did that, but so I got on the bed. And then I remember, like, people talking to me, but I couldn't answer. And then my mom walked back into the room, and she was, like, crying her eyes out. I could hear her, and she was like, oh my god, is she gonna be okay? And so I was like, oh my god, what happened? Like, if my mom doesn't think I'm gonna be okay, like, I just had surgery, it's something wrong. Like, I'm not able to talk to anybody. Like, I can't wake up, but I can hear, like, them saying, like, they think something's wrong. And my mom's, like, crying her eyes out, and my dad's like, no, she's gonna be okay. And so, like, I'm not aware of, like, anything that happened, like, during my surgery or anything. Like, maybe it went wrong, and I'm like, just sit there and I can listen to everything, but I'm not able to talk or, like, communicate with my hands or anything. And then I wake up, and I am freezing cold because I guess I was hot, and they put, like, washcloths that were, like, cold to, like, cool me off. And I was so cold. And so, yeah, that's, like, the worst experience ever. And those of you who've never had surgery, like, I probably just scared the crap out of you, but that was the first time I had surgery, and I almost died. If I wouldn't have gone to the hospital, I definitely would have died. And I recovered. There was nothing else wrong with me. Everyone there was super sweet. And yeah, so that's my story time, and thank you guys for watching. And if you guys want to hear about any of other story times, I'd be glad to film them, because I really like story times. They're really fun, and a lot of times when I tell people that story about me having surgery, they're like, oh my god, like, yeah, like, it was pretty crazy. So thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe. Semester in the first half, so I'll be able to devote more time to making videos. So if you guys would like to listen to my story time, please stay tuned.